Hey everybody, Josh here, going live for the first time, and I'm doing it without like scheduling like a time, so I'm just kind of off the cuff here. Don't expect it's the middle of the day on a Wednesday. I don't expect like a lot of people to be joining in on this. I imagine if people watch this, it'll be they'll be watching it like when it's archived later. So I'm just kind of playing around with YouTube. A lot of the platform I'm not super familiar with, and I don't just don't have a ton of experience with it beyond just posting videos that I've already edited. So I want to start playing around with going live more and doing more stuff, trying to post like shorts whenever I go out hunting and things like that, as I can. But the plan here today, I was just going to kind of tell us a story, and the story has little pit stops on the way where I'll kind of talk about some projects I've worked on in the past, talk about some of my friends that I rated with, and promote their kind of personal projects as well. That's the intent. So, so I guess like I can just get going. I have here prop from a video that I made a few years back. This is Violators Cruising Convertible from the Spawn Dreamhouse video. I've mentioned that a couple times in the past, but not really talked about it a lot. It's on YouTube. If you search for it, Spawn Dreamhouse, it's going to come up. It's on my like personal YouTube channel. I made that. What happens is I was working with a friend of mine, and my friend has his own toy channel. You can find him at galactic_geek. Hey, what's up, Cody? Hey. So my buddy's got a channel, galactic_geek. He just changed his name. It used to be Unboxing Imagination. So if you search for that too, his channel will show up. He's got way more followers, more subscribers, than I do. And he's been at it for a lot longer. He's got this insane Toy Story collection, the biggest I've ever seen, his channel was for a long time like heavily Toy Story and Pixar, and he would do stop motions with the toys, and you'd make the post videos like that and get crazy, hundreds of thousands of views and stuff. So he and I used to work together. He and I were the video department for a small marketing company. And one day we were going to lunch. I think we hopped in his car, and he had a dollhouse in the back that he had found at Goodwill. And I knew he's not just a collector; he's a toy photographer as well. And the dollhouse was like this great. I just knew right away looking at it like it would work with the Toy Story stuff. But then he also collects like slashers. Ghostface and Michael Myers and Jason and all those. So when you take a photo and you have like a set like that in the like soft focus in the background, it makes the pictures look really great. So I was like, oh, that that's pretty badass. And then I jokingly said, hey, Vartan, what's up, buddy? Hey, I was telling this story about my buddy of mine. He's a collector, and he had this dollhouse, and I saw it, and I knew he would use it for photography and stuff. But I jokingly said Spawn Dreamhouse, and we laughed about it because the absurdity was apparent immediately. The dark and gritty Spawn, and then make it a Barbie Dreamhouse, and we laughed about it. So we ended up, he and I and our friend Wilson, we made that video, Spawn Dreamhouse, and it was very funny, and we had a great time doing it, and all that. Part of the process of making that video was I edited it, and I exported it and played it on a TV and recorded that to a VHS tape with a VCR, converted the tape back to digital, so I could post it, but it had, once it was on the tape, it would have scratches and bad tracking. So that was part of the process. And then, so cut to my friend Jason. He's a filmmaker, and he had made a feature. And the feature is a horror movie, and it's called Straight Edge Keger. And I should explain that if that doesn't make any sense to you. Straight edge is like this subculture, and they're all about, like, they don't drink, they don't smoke, they don't do drugs or anything like that. And it's a subculture that often overlaps with like hardcore music and punk music and scenes like that. So if you know any straight edge people, you know they some of them are very militant about their ideals, and there's like urban legends of like, oh, people who become straight edge and they get a straight edge tattoo, which is 3 X's. You see 3 X's, that's straight edge. If they ever break edge, meaning if they ever like, imbibe alcohol or do drugs or anything, that they'll forcibly remove your tattoo, like with a cheese grater or something, the urban legend, crazy stuff. So Jason made this film, Straight Edge Keger. It's about a guy who's straight edge and he breaks edge, and the straight edge guys find out and they come and attack this like house party where they're playing live music and crap like that, and they murder everybody. So if you're familiar with that at all, just the name will make you chuckle, with Straight Edge Keger. So he made that, and then he partnered with a guy. I don't know his name, but he goes by Death by Toys, and he makes these funny sort of bootleggy. Actually, let me hang on. I got a couple more. Let me go find them. Like, he made this one that was John Carpenter's The Fog action figure, and it's just some like cotton in there as if it's fog. That it's he makes these joke toys. Like, he made one that was Blair Witch, and the blister was the basement at the end of the Blair Witch movie, and the figure was in there facing backwards, like facing the corner, like at the end of Blair Witch. So Jason, he made that feature. He partnered up with Death by Toys to do a limited run of Straight Edge Keger action figures, and one of them is this bloody keg, and then the other one is one of the straight edge killers from the movie. They all wear these masks. So Jason reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I did these toys. Would you think you could do a Spawn Dreamhouse commercial, or a commercial for these Straight Edge Keger toys, like you guys did with the Spawn Dreamhouse?" So we did that, and that's not posted anywhere. He put that on the DVD of the movie. I'll talk to him, make sure he's cool with me sharing it before I do it. And that was that was fun, and it was funny. Did the same thing, went from digital to VHS, back to digital for that authentic wear and tear, and then now that was, actually I should say, Straight Edge Keger is on Shudder right now, streaming the app, the horror movie app. So if you want to watch it, you can watch Straight Edge Keger right now. Excuse me. Drink some water. It's not a long story. So Galactic Geek, who I mentioned, and our friend Wilson, they helped me with the Straight Edge Keger commercial. Excuse me, because me and those guys, we collaborate on everything together. And some time goes by. Obviously, lockdown comes and goes, and at the end of lockdown, once we could start like hanging out with other people, all of us who had been dying to make some stuff, do some work on some projects, some fun stuff, we were dying to work on some stuff. And Jason, who wrote and directed Straight Edge Keger. Vartan, my newest haul is these Princess Bride. These are actually pretty fun. So Jason, as everybody's in lockdown, obviously, like myself included, everybody got into what's up, evil villain? Their different hobbies and stuff, right? Obviously, I went all in on the toys. People were going in on their Pokemon cards and all that stuff. Well, Jason, he got into collecting VHS tapes. And knowing that I was a VHS enthusiast as well, from the process of making the Spawn Dreamhouse and the Straight Edge Keger toy commercials, converting to VHS and back to digital, he knew I was sort of up on that, in that world a little bit. And he had this idea. He wanted to make a fake mockumentary, a fake documentary about a guy who collects horror tapes, VHS, and goes to flea markets and weird Craigslist ads and whatnot. So we made that short with Jason and Galactic Geek, who I mentioned, and Wilson. We all worked on that, and it's called Tapehead. Excuse me, I need to drink some more water. Taking a break. Barton, all good. I hope I'm saying your name right, bro. So we made this fake documentary. It's called Tapehead, and Jason's been putting that in some short film festivals right now, and then eventually he's gonna get it. They're gonna it's gonna play on Bloody Disgusting TV, which is their kind of little streaming. It's modestly. It's not a Shudder. It's a little bit smaller than that, but still very cool. It's in the appropriately titled Vancouver Horror Show VHS festival, and just got nominated for Best Comedy. So that's fantastic. And yeah, that's a big roundabout toy adjacent story. Definitely watch Spawn Dreamhouse. Check out Straight Edge Keger on Shudder, and then eventually Tapehead will be available to be watched on Bloody Disgusting TV. So that was a long enough story. How's everybody doing? What's new? I was saying I just got these Princess Bride figures. They're pretty fun. They're actually really fun. And especially, like I was saying in the review, this Wesley would make a great Zorro. And actually, like this Buttercup, they went like, I don't like that they went half plastic and half fabric. I think they should have gone full fabric and actually just went full doll kind of with it. Just, you know what I mean? Like it would fit the source material. You know what I mean? Because the whole Princess Bride is like, the kid's like, what is this? A story about princesses and crap? And it ends up being like swashbuckly and badass, you know? So I think they should have just made the princess of the Princess Bride like a full doll. I think it actually would have been appealing. Not that I want like dolls, you know, but I think it would have been kind of cool. And she's got this, look at this crunch. These are pretty fun. Yeah, I agree that I don't like fabric generally. This was fun, and I like that year 2 Batman, because the blue and gray to me is a throwback. You know what I mean? So it's like throwback to this. I can get on board with that. Like, you know, Barton said he got that neck of Goliath. My friend that I was just talking about, Galactic Geek, he got it too, and it's crazy. It's badass. It's really cool. The way they like, it's true to the cartoon style, but then added like more realistic textures and stuff in a way that works really well. Are you, Barton? Are you gonna get that? Are you gonna get Beast and or Bronx with that the other. Are you gonna get some of those other characters? I'm not gonna go down the rabbit hole personally. Uh, NECA. It just takes a lot for me now to get me to pull the trigger. I've just been burned on him so many times. You know, I want the. I was talking about it in the shelf tour I just did. I want the uh, Nazi werewolf from American Werewolf in London. I really want that. That'll probably be the next NECA I get, unless I see the Halloween Kills Mike Myers. I might be able to. That Puppet Master stuff is really badass. Yeah. Did you watch? Did you watch the newest Puppet Master? The kill where the guy one of the puppets is a drone, like has like a helicopter, and the guy's like taking a leak, and then it cuts his head off, and his head falls in the toilet, and but his dead body continues peeing on his own decapitated head. It's one of the best kills I've seen in like the past 10 years of horror movies. Oh, Michael Jackson fan made. Yeah, that those Spawn variants don't do much for me. I mean, they don't look terrible. They don't look as bad as some of the other Spawn variants, but yeah, I'm not gonna. Um, Morky Moose is talking about some of the new Jazzwares Halo figures that I showed off in my shelf tour. He's saying there's some new ones coming out. Morky Moose, I have seen the Shade Turret and the Mantis from the new 4-inch wave, and I got those, but there's supposed to be another new wave of 4-inch that I haven't seen anywhere yet that have the Shield Jackals. There's a new Marine, I think. There's a new Elite. I'm army building with the 4-inch ones. But I mean, the 7 inches look fantastic. And actually, both my friend Wilson and Galactic Geek I was talking about, they both got that 7-inch Master Chief, and they did a black wash on it, and it looks dynamite. The plastic is cheap. It's like squeaky when you move the articulation. It's a little limited, but they're good. Spartan Fred. Evil Villain asked what lines I would like McFarlane to touch on, and I'm not really sure, because I was thinking about this with the Princess Bride figures, because I like these, and I'm still not sure who they're for. Like I grew up with Princess Bride, and truly, unironically, Princess Bride is the shit. But I wasn't begging for these. They look fantastic and they're really fun. But I don't know, they're $25. It's a really bad price point. I don't know if they're just gonna. Cause I would think this line maybe would appeal to normies. The people that don't follow toys, and they go to Target and they're like, oh, what, they got Princess Bride? They got like you would see the Marty McFly NECA. If you were just a regular nerd, not a toy nerd, if you saw that Marty McFly, you're like, oh yeah, I want that. Inigo Montoya. I don't know. It's an iconic movie. It's got a big footprint, but I hope they sell, because yeah, there needs to be a second wave, but who knows? Oh yeah, yeah. Some more Game of Thrones figures would be really dope from McFarlane. Wildcats would be very badass. Did you guys hear that? Allegedly, there's going to be a grifter for the multiverse line. I think Voice of Reason posted that. He's dead on, man. He's got the real tea when it comes to those leaks. Oh yeah, Savage Dragon. 100%. That'd be so badass. Um, and the other thing that's got my gears turning is like, did they lean toward this because Witcher has been going pretty well for them, and they can kind of do double duty. You know, you put this guy uh, in the back. He looks like a blacksmith or something, or a pirate guy. I don't know. Like, they're making a horse, so you know that horse is going to be in Witcher. Medieval Spawn's going to have that horse. Obviously, Batman's got the horse. I hope they do like a solo. If they do a solo carded version of that Build a Horse, I will get 3 at least. And I don't normally do that. I don't duplicate stuff, but that horse. Yeah, but they started banning. Are you guys talking about Voice of Reason? Yeah. Yeah, it's he's really on the ball. He's always got the scoops. He was saying because he's been getting like temporary bans and shit from Instagram that he's gonna quit, but he said he's gonna quit in the past before. So I'm not gonna worry that the sky is falling quite yet. But I hope he doesn't quit. I do, because he's got the leaks, man. He's the one that's got him. Batman Beyond Batmobile is going to be badass, and I didn't watch Batman Beyond, but the figures are cool, really cool. They're sleek, they're really clean. I like them. I was getting that wave, and I was going to put the Build-A-Fig, the Joker bot together, and my thought was that I would get them and then sell them probably as a lot, and as each new one comes out, I'm like, I'm not gonna sell them. I'm keeping those. That what's the villain? Blight. Look, it looks cool, man. It looks really cool. Future State Batman. Both of those designs are awesome. Morky Moose. Yes, I agree. The new Batman, and then help me out. What are the two? I paid attention a little bit to the some of those future state stories. The one I really liked actually was Arkham Knights from the future state storylines, but I don't think I even read to the end of it. They kind of lost my interest. Yeah, Omega would fit in with those Batman Beyond figures too, for sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll get that Batman Beyond Batmobile, and it'll probably be awesome if it's anything like that Batmo Beast, which I wanted to really like laugh at that thing when I first saw it, and once those pictures came out where you can take that frame off and it's got you can take the body off and the frame underneath. I kind of want to buy 3 of those too, man, and turn them into like Mad Max mobiles. Yeah, deceased. I'm sure deceased would sell a lot. Not my, I go in and out of like paying attention to what's new, and usually just the nature of like comics that don't have an ending is that they just start to feel really wheel spinny. So I'll dive in and it starts to bore me, and I fall out, and mostly I read finite storylines, Long Halloween and stuff like that. Those end up being my favorites. I know I'm not alone in that, but I just try to keep up with what's going on, even if I'm not reading it. Well, actually, that makes sense because I'm wearing this wizard shirt right now, and back in the day, if you were, like, comics were expensive, man, especially if you wanted other stuff, toys and crap. So you can't read everything. So if you paid $5 and you got Wizard magazine, they're telling you about everything's going on, and you can kind of like through osmosis, keep your fingers on the pulse, to paraphrase Brody from Mallrats. Yeah, how much is that? What Vartan? What do you think about that Cygor? I don't know. The she spawn looks fantastic. I want them to do more like that. They cost a few more bucks, but they got a little more paint and they got way more accessories. Like they tried to do with the clown, but the guns is cute. It reminds me of Clown 2, obviously. That's the reference, but New 52 Trinity. Yeah. The it's just hard to tell from the photos that we have right now, like the Cygor. If the sculpt's really there, the paint's not there. And then but then the proportions of it, how he's going to be able to move, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just a little skeptical. I want to really be able to get him in some of those like obviously the cover where him and Spawn are battling and they're falling backwards, but I really want to try to get him in some of those like the way King Kong moves in Ready Player One. Some of those like big jumpy kind of poses. So I'm gonna end up with like 3 flight stands, like holding him up. Hopefully, that's what I want to do. But I guess my concern is just, will the articulation really be ape-like? Will, you know what I mean? His legs and the big arms. I don't know. How long have I been going? 27 minutes. That's kind of longer than I expected already, actually. Probably call it a day here in a few minutes. I gotta go run around and work on some other video projects. I started to respond to your comment before I even read it. Yeah, I hope those fingers and knuckles are even if it's just like all as one piece. I'll suck it up and accept that. But oh man, they really got to have a little bit of something. Morky Moose, which Batman figures? Like the 3 Jokers, or and the Year 2, or like beyond that? That's a great question, actually, because I mentioned this a lot in my reviews. When they do the movie themed or video game themed, the figures start to feel like they don't fit in with the rest of the figures. They look kind of static and just very rotely sort of execute, like it just doesn't fit their house style. I think because they're starting those sculpts from using existing digital assets that were made for the movies, and those Batman ones look a little bit less than that, like that. They look more like these, that where it's somebody has sculpted from scratch the person, and it blends in better with their house style. So I can put I can put this guy next to Spawn or Batman, and he's not going to stand out aside from being a pirate guy. So I'm hoping those Robert Pattinson Batman movies look a little closer to this kind of style, design style, than those ones that are, because those movie ones, it's like they try to get realistic, and the closer they get to realistic, the further away they get, because it's not like they're not doing Hot Toys, and they're not going to hit that level. So I think they need to be stylized a little. You know what I mean? This looks like Mandy Patinkin, but it's got a little bit of, Grand Theft Auto, slight exaggeration, if that makes any sense. But the Bat Cycle, the new Bat Cycle, that's the one I really want. Johnny Boy, yeah, those Netflix Witcher ones. Did you make a comment about that the other day? I think. I don't want those Netflix Witcher ones. They don't look like this. Looks good. This looks cool. This looks like it was designed to be this size and with these dimensions, and it works. But then the Netflix Witcher ones don't. They don't look like this. Yeah, Vartime. It's true. Like these are scaled correctly, and then nothing in the multiverse ever is. Yeah, those Witcher ones are dookie. They do need to. I mean, I get on board with it sometimes because I'm like, well, the individual figure looks a little better when they scale it up and have more room. But then, yeah, when you can't put anything next to each other, it sucks. It's stupid. I want that Witcher giant. I want that giant. I want to have him battling like medieval Spawn or whatever whenever that finally gets made. Morgy Moose, help him out. Does anybody remember when they were talking about the Fallout? McFarlane was talking about doing a Fallout line. Did you say 2019? I think. I don't remember. I just wasn't paying attention at that point. I was a little tapped out on toys for a few years. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying about face paint, Barton. I was kind of not paying attention to toys for a few years. I had been on the import thing for a while because I was doing a lot of Metal Gear Solid collecting. So then I kind of fell out, and then one day my friends were like hanging out, and they had the McFarlane Wave 1 Superman and Batman. McFarlane's making DC figures, and I was like, no, he's not. You guys are dumb. Like, but he's not making DC figures. I really didn't believe him, truly. And especially the way they looked and the articulation and the way they were styled, like I was really like, no. But they were, and they were obviously, they hooked me. Oh, is that true? They only made the one figure from One Punch Man. Johnny Boy, you're not going to do medieval if it's like the first Kickstarter. Is that what you mean? I'll do it. I don't know. Like they need to do a better job of like that first Kickstarter. The intent was there, I think, to like show people behind the curtain and give them a look at what goes into it and stuff. But then they never Todd, because he's the face of everything and he won't let anybody else say anything or communicate. So he would show you something, and then behind the scenes, the realities of things change and they're not able to execute what they intended. He didn't do a good enough job of being like, okay, we're changing and here's why. Like if he wanted to show us behind the curtain, he should have committed to showing us behind the curtain and not just sort of dropping in once every few weeks with contradictory updates. Oh, Johnny, well, you don't like the set pose? I'll go with it. Like, so I keep coming back to these Princess Bride figures. What I love about these, Inigo has double jointed. He's got pretty normal size arms. And Dread Pirate Roberts here is got this piratey, poofy sleeves. So they gave him single elbows, and they're single elbows. They get to 90 degrees, but they do have a rotation, and they look pretty good. So normally I want a double elbow, but if they do it, if they don't give me the articulation I want, but they do it in a way that's really satisfying, like visually and in hand, I'll get on board with doing some less posable or pre-posed, kind of things like that Spawn torso. When I look at that Kickstarter Spawn next to the Mortal Kombat one that has that big cut there, I think the Kickstarter one looks 100 times better. So that's where I come down on it. It's kind of a figure by figure basis, and if it, yeah, saying it would be more posable. Well, yeah, and at first he was saying he was trying to make that Spawn torso like this, like with this rubber, but it does bend like cinch in like that when you bend it. I really wish they would have been able to do something like that for that Kickstarter torso. Yeah, I think you're right about the double elbows, Vartan. Yeah, I mean, the White Knight figures are still probably my favorite ones. I mean, maybe not individually, but like as a whole, that White Knight one is. I really hope they make more. I want that T-shirt and suspenders Joker, like he's wearing a Batman T-shirt. They have got to make that from White Knight, and hell, both versions of Harley. What else? Other characters. Oh, the GTO Nightwing with a hat would be so badass. But yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I mean, they just did that White Knight Bat cycle, so hopefully that means that they're gonna make more White Knight stuff. White Knight Batman was mine too. Morky Moose, it was mine too. I got that Batman and that Joker. The Joker is, for my money, still the best single figure from the Multiverse line. The White Knight GTO Joker. That's really how I feel about it. Yeah, the metal. I mean, the metals line. It sounds like they're still going to keep going, and they all end up looking really great. So even if I don't like the metal or the death metal stuff, they're still some of the best looking ones. The White Knight team, by the way, they don't finish teams at all. That's something else. Like that, the Dark Knights, man, they look great. Yeah, the White Knight Batman. It's just fun, even if it's the red one. Like it just feels great. What was I was watching some toy thing, and they were saying that Legends have better plastic than McFarlane. Is that like a common understanding? Is that what people think? Because these all feel like a lot closer to like an ABS type, which in my opinion is like a better grade of plastic. Like all the 3A, that Metal Gear, those are all ABS. Yeah, it's not. They're not. They feel like they're still petroleum, kind of like you could. I feel like I could grab a Legend right here and just bend the ankle, or not the ankle, the like their thigh or the sturdy part of their forearm, and just yeah. I don't know. I mean, I get why people are all about Legends. I mean, when you get locked into a scale and this is out, you can't even work with it. There's not worth it for you to like start buying figures that don't play with everything else. I get it. Um, But I mean, I just think 7-inch looks better. They just are a little bit more prominent. You know what I mean? I'm trying to show these off here. Uh, yeah, Mafex are expensive though. I was, like I said, I was playing with the imports a lot um, for a little bit, but like I was saying earlier, when the stuff starts to feel like it's the same figure and over and over again, that I start to get a little bothered. So like Mafex, Figma, when they all feel the same, you know. Legends should up their scale. I don't think people would be happy about that. But I mean, Legends are fine. I don't mean to like take a dump on them or anything. I totally get why people like them. I just much prefer these. I think these are the best. 20-25 bucks. I like playing with them more than NECA. They don't hold up visually next to a NECA, but I don't necessarily want all my figures to try to be photorealistic. I like comic book style stuff, you know. Yeah, Legends is fun. Oh, it's a lively chat in here for Wednesday, middle of the day. I figured this was kind of a slow day, but you guys are hanging out. I don't know, Morky. People are all about their 6-inch, you know, like I mean, like it or not, people get locked into what they already have, you know. If you've got 6-inch, um, and you know, if you got 6-inch, a bunch of different things all play together. You know, you can play with Black Series and put them right next to Legends and put them right next to Mafex. Mafex a little smaller, but PS4 Spider-Man, the Legends or one of the imports. McFarlane Halo. You know that it's funny that you mentioned that because that was when I had a NECA moment with McFarlane years ago. They switched that 5-inch scale, and if you saw them, you'll know because they have these very noticeable ratchety ridges on the knees and the elbows. They were doing that for a long time with different lines. But I got a Master Chief from them, and immediately those small ones, they were so brittle and they would break all the time, and I pulled it out of the package and the arm broke off, and I was like, sorry Todd, no more, never again. And I didn't get McFarlane for a long time until this multiverse line came out, and it seems like they fixed their QC issues because it was a people when people say that, oh, McFarlane, they just make statues. They have way more recent problems than being statues. They got away from making statues, and the QC was bad for a few years, and the shit would break. Uh, and now it seems like I haven't had too many issues with these. Sometimes an arm will pop out and it goes right in, and it's fine for good. Like I haven't had the stuff just break. You know, I think we all have that experience of like I've said before, like I have a love hate thing with NECA, and when something comes out and it just sucks, you don't think about that. You're like, well, that sucks. I'm not going to get it. Goodbye. Move on. But when something gets really close to being exactly what you want, but just misses the mark a little bit, it like makes you more angry than if it had just been terrible. So I think people have that kind of experience for a lot of different reasons. You know, sometimes it's because it breaks. Sometimes it's because the scale's wrong. Sometimes because it doesn't fit in with your other guys, or so on. You know what I mean? And when something gets really close to being exactly what you want, but doesn't quite get there, it makes people blow their top more than if it just sucked, I think. Nicholas, I agree with you on those diamond selects. The diamond selects are pretty good. I don't think they feel as good. The plastic doesn't feel as good as these, but oh, Johnny boy, you got hip snapped. I saw a bunch of people had that dark side that had started working just fine. Although you know how it's a ball joint ankle, it split off the thing, but I was able to put it back on. Multiple hip snaps on the Todd design Batman. I didn't have it. I don't think I pushed that one too hard though. Um, he was one of those where it's just like I like how it felt, but you could tell he just didn't. Some of these they don't like there'll be a little bit of I'm not saying this is the case with this one, but just for example, sometimes they'll do what's up, Kenny? Sometimes they'll do a sculpt and it just slightly has, especially with the female figures, it will have sculpted in just a little bit of they're not standing totally neutral, which is fine for me, but they don't that when they do that when they end up making like one leg longer than the other or something to make it do this specific sort of stance, and then you can't really do any other pose with it. So Phantom Knight, what's up, buddy? Yeah, I'm gonna make some Halo and Metal Gear videos. I got to get some stuff out of excuse me. I got to get some stuff out of storage. I have the big that Metal Gear Rex up there. I have the big one, and I have the big Metal Gear Ray as well, which is a monster. And I barely even had that out of the box, which seems silly. It is silly. That's why that's kind of why I stopped collecting as much Metal Gear stuff, because the Metal Gear stuff is super expensive, and those were like impractical size, so it was just thanks, Phantom Knight. Appreciate you, man. Yeah. Yeah, Johnny boy, I don't know. I love the idea of that Todd Batman with the knives hanging from his belt and stuff, but the way like they're just immediately bent back in a static position. Yeah, Varton. Hang on, I grab mine. Varton was saying this is low key the best female figure, and I think he's actually kind of right. The you can get a lot more cool poses out of this than Devin or the Drowned or the other female figures. The that Harley too, the Suicide Squad Harley. I really wanted to like that. I like that. The dress, that's cool. It just the plastic was too thick, so she couldn't actually move below the hips much, her legs or anything. Yeah, Kenny, I know what you mean. I mean, people complain about stuff being pre-posed. I don't always disagree. I don't always agree because just case by case basis. If it looks really sharp, I have a hard time complaining about it being pre-posed or missing certain articulation. Just comes down to like, I don't know. Some of these things you get them out and there's just something about it and you just want to play with it all day and mess with it and put it in different things. And some of them you get them out and it's like, well, this is great, but it looks good standing like this and that's it. Yeah, that Harley dress being one piece and not having a waist, it killed it. And then the layers of the different dress make it so that her legs can't move too much. Well, I think about start time to wrap this up. Anybody got anything else? Any final thoughts? You try to keep me on here for a few more minutes. The new Suicide Squad wave. The fun factor was missing. They just the polka dot man is really fun. The rest of them, I wanted to have fun with that, and I really think they missed the mark. Like that Bloodsport, his body language is all wrong, man. It needs to be like that Red Hood, the first Red Hood that they did from the multiverse line, where he's kind of got that like sexy hip thrust, and he's like just look like strutting his stuff, He needed to have that attitude, and that Bloodsport does not. Phantom Knight's ask it. Oh, but before I answer that question, Phantom Knight, I ordered some custom weapons for the Suicide Squad from this guy call on Instagram at MRG Toys. So those are going to be showing up soon, and I'm going to review them on camera and put them with that. So I'm hoping those will bring that Suicide Squad wave up a little bit more. Make them a little bit more fun. Because those character designs are amazing, but the figures just didn't get there for me. Yeah, the Bloodsport's the worst hip design. It absolutely is. But Phantom Knight's asking if he's saying he's starting to have too many figures, and asking if I sell my old stuff. Just depends. Like it's hard. It gets really, really hard to part with. But I try to. Yeah, like what? It's funny. David here. Hey, what's up, David? Just asked if I'm displaying my Snyder Cut figures, and I think Snyder Cut wave is one that I am gonna be able to part with. So I'm gonna try to sell them all as a lot, and I think what's keeping me from selling them is I really want to keep that Henry Cavill Superman. But like I was saying earlier, he's the design style is wrong. He doesn't fit in with the comic style figures, which is what I enjoy the most. So maybe I'm gonna have to part with that Henry Cavill Superman and get rid of that Snyder Cut wave as a lot. Kevin, what's up, buddy? So I don't know. I'm mulling it over still. It's tough to part with stuff. I mentioned in my shelf tour, I just sold a bunch of NECA cartoon turtles. The fun factor wasn't there, man. They look really great. They're not that fun to move around. They don't have. I can't get them into really like ambitious sort of acrobatic, energetic poses, and I just didn't have fun with them. Fun factor wasn't there. But they were tough to part with. I mean, I had 7 2-packs, and I had the Wave One turtles, the original colors, where they're different shades of green. I had NECA. I keep saying NECA. I had Casey Jones and April and Bebop and Rocksteady, and I had to part with them. It's a really, really tender moment. Yeah, Phantom Knight. Yeah, you gotta. IKEA makes you have to watch and refresh, and is the stuff in stock? Kevin, I talked about the Batman line earlier, but to answer your question, yes and no. The live action stuff just doesn't wow. It ends up not wowing me the same way the comic styled stuff does. So. Johnny boy, that's not a. You're not the only one that didn't like that dark side. I liked it. I'm a weirdo. I like some weird design things that other people don't like. Yeah, Kevin. Yeah, same issue basically. Just the live action stuff doesn't fit in with everything else. So I'm and I have a hard time getting rid of stuff. So I think that those are trying to tell me that they are a contender to be um, removed from the premises. All right, I'm gonna call it, guys. It's been an hour. This has been a ton of fun actually talking to you guys. I was a little nervous about this. Just hadn't done the live stuff at all. So this was fun to kind of dive in. I'm gonna archive this, so if you came in partway through, you'll be able to catch up on what you missed. I told some stories, told some tales. Yes, Barton. I love that thing with the omega symbol in his thing. I said it in the review. I think that he looks like a Amish farmer. You know what I mean? Like a intergalactic farmer, like really lean but muscle, like ropey muscles, and he had that. His thing makes that chin strap beard looking. I think they were going for Amish farmer, and I think they nailed it. I like it. It's weird, you know. Um, But yeah. All right, guys. I will see you next time. I'm gonna try to do these lives more often. We'll figure out like maybe a more structured time. I just hopped on here in the middle of the day, but appreciate all you guys watching, and I will see you very soon, hopefully. Peace out.